So before we get started, take a moment. You will need a chair tonight and a strap. If you don't have a strap, a belt, something like that will work. Make sure when you come into the room, you mute. All right, we'll mute you. All right. You ready, Enzo? Ready. Puppy's ready. Puppy is ready. All right. Sit on your bolster or blankets. So good to see everybody. I know we'll have a few people straggling at the last moments. Some of you are getting better camera setups. It's nice. We're not improving at all, right? I'm here for yoga. I'm not here for like media. We're doing the best we can. Cross the shins, 1 foot under the other, or 1 foot under the opposite knee as Tristan's trying to set up here with a little puppy in the way. All right. Place the hands on the thighs, flex the feet, lift the spine up, taking a nice deep breath in as you go. Exhale, drop the shoulders, keep a lifted spine. Flex the feet again, not just the toes, but the whole foot. Press the hands on the thigh, lift. Taking a deep breath, and as you exhale, squeeze your back ribs in, side rib forward, front rib up. Drop the shoulders, let the elbows pin in a little bit to the side so there's a broadness across the collarbone. Move the head back, lean the body back a little, put your weight in your hips. Not backward bending, so you got to make sure to move from the mid body. Let your eyes close. Take a few breaths. Check in with yourself. Right. Invite yourself to have a level of conversation with what's going on with you that you may not do normally. Make it something special. Each time we get on the yoga mat, to me, is the chance to have that conversation. Sometimes it can feel, especially in my experience, that we are, or I am, dealing with my stuff, handling it as it comes up. Only when it's bad enough not to ignore or to put aside. So take a moment before we begin and check in with yourself in a way that's slightly different than you normally would. How are you feeling about today? What have you carried around with you? It's not too heavy, but it's there. Let each breath give you another chance for what's going on inside you just to even present itself. Because as I think it's known, the more you know about something, the less power it has over you to create fear and anxiety or to become a problem. So have that conversation with yourself for a moment or two. Hear yourself, all of it. The complaint, the happy, the sad, the angry, the shame, the fear. Let yourself give yourself that moment just to speak to your own self what's going on deeper inside. Not to repress until it becomes too much to handle. But to see what's there so that when we get into the practice on the mat, whatever's there, we might be able to go a little bit deeper, figure out something else a little bit more about for yourself. And let your practice be not one of just physical work. And even though if that's what you're here for, it's a blessing in of itself. But we take all of this philosophy, all of the asana, and all of ourselves, and let it all work together to create something greater than just a loose hamstring, an open hip, or strong abs. Maybe a clear mind, emotional balance, and a zest for the life we're living now. rather than a worry about what's to come, whether it's us or the world around us. A deep breath in, a slow breath out. Bring the palms together at the chest, let the thumbs touch the sternum. Chest lifted, all that good stuff. Index moves away from middle fingers, pinky moves away from ring. Hold them shortly 3 times, then begin. Take a breath. Om. Flex your feet. Om. Back ribs in, side rib forward, front rib up, shoulders down. Om. Bow your head for a moment and salute the essence of yoga inside yourself. Bring your hands into your lap. Let your head rise and your eyes open. All right, so lovely to see everybody. So let's start the shindig off. Come into a standing position. I'm going to adjust the camera up a little bit. You will probably not need your strap for the first few moments here, but have it nearby. Thighs together, feet together in Tadasana, please. Tadasana, remember, if you don't remember, is knees touching, heels touching, thighs coming together, calves squeezing in. Bring the outer line towards the center line. Now, tonight we're going to work a lot of the pelvis up, but of course, everything we do in yoga is a whole body practice. So still start with a solid foundation. Start with a foundation where the legs are active in each side, so you might be able to kind of notice if one shoulder is out of whack or a side of your back is out of whack. So thighs together, feet together. Stretch both arms straight out in front of you. Cross your right elbow over your left. When you cross your elbows over your left, push your hands a little farther than just the cross point of the elbow. So the hands are very active through the center of the palm, pushing the arm like there were 2 walls or 2 boards to press against. Flex the muscle in that way. So it's not just the hinge of the joint, which is hypermobility, but the stretch of the back body widening around the rib cage. Then keep that pressure. Keep pushing through the hands so the arms are active, the back is active, and then bend the elbows, bringing the forearms together. So the elbows are still in that crossing, stretching action to their opposite sides, right to left, left to right, but the forearms press together and the back opens. Start there for a moment. In Dustin or eagle arms. So it's easy to only work the upper body if we, in a way that is going to irritate the joint or not give relief if we keep the back rigid. Rigidness in the spine is not going to create a healthy limb. So here, instead of trying to hold your chest really upright, turn to your right. Round your mid and upper back like you're slouching into this. So Tristan, round your back forward like you're rounding over to pick something up, just like that. Yeah. Pause. Pull your cord. Round your back. Yeah. Make it a very large humped upper back, because the more you do that and roll forward, it's not bowing at the hips. So you can be fairly upright. You're just rounding the upper thoracic. And then pick your elbows up away from your belly so you get that extension and width. You feel the muscle of the back pull and wrap around and lengthen all at the same time. Can you take and breathe deeply into the body, into the lungs? So not just the front where you might feel the front press out against the hands, but take a breath here in that rounded back and breathe back against the rib cage. So you feel the ribs push against the flesh of your back. Take a few deep breaths. Exhale, bring your chest up. Switch your arms. So now left goes over right, press through the palms so the arms are active. Really engage the width of the back to widen deeper or bigger so you can get that arm crossed. Bend the elbows, forearm to forearm. And if your arms don't cross, like you're stuck here and you're doing this, you're still squeezing the elbows in, even if your elbows don't cross fully. You're still trying to create that action to widen that back. Once you get the arms active, squeezing the forearms together, don't fold at the hips. This is a different action. Round your upper back like you're creating a hump. There you go, better, Tristan. And then once you've gone a little bit, pick the elbows up away from the chest, but don't bring your chest up. Let it stay in the rounded, wide action and breathe into it. Use your breath to connect to the tightness of your shoulder, your neck, your back, and your mid-back, and that how you're breathing just against it can help create some level of release. All right, bring the body up. Stretch both arms straight out in front of you. Take both arms straight up into the air. Palms facing in. So even from here, activate the legs, squeeze the legs tight together. There you go. Move your upper thighs back and pick up from the abdominal chest back core muscle. So you're lifting up taller, not from the hips pressing forward, but the front leg muscles, the quad, the stronger leg, pushing back to the femur bone, so your abdominals, ribs, and chest can lift up higher. Keep in the pose. Thighs back, legs strong. Interlace the fingers above your head, turn your palms up. Try not to push the arm back too hard, but if your bicep or tricep lines up with your ear, that's great. But be aware of how the low back wants to push forward to help pick the arm up. Challenge the thighs to move back again. So your hips and your buttock lift. Arms up, interlace your fingers, palms up. The thighs move back, so your hips are above your heels, and then you have to lift from your abdominals. And then you're going to notice maybe you feel a tightness in your shoulder. That's because you're pushing your shoulder joint back too hard, and your mid and low back are doing the work. So regardless of where you are, bring your hands forward about 5 or 6 inches. Get out of the extreme push on the joint and work your legs and core body more. Pull your thighs back deeper, not your knee. Use the quad. Then when you feel the bottom of the buttock lift, because the hamstring is now active, go to the front abdominal muscles and don't suck them in, but lift your ribs up higher from there, and then move your chest back. Then pick your palms up. Stretch from the armpit to the wrist in whatever direction they're facing, whether it's slightly in front of you or straight up. And then if your arms can float higher and back, that's great. Don't make pushing back behind you the action or idea instead of lifting or extending up against gravity. You want spinal freedom or freedom in the shoulders and the neck, you have to push up against gravity, not back against the backside of your poor shoulder joint. And then hold and breathe into it, and then feel which part wants to crash or quit first. Does the thighs want to kind of fling forward? Does the buttock want to tuck and then you work your low back? Or can you keep your quads active and your knee soft? Micro bend, just keep the legs gentle in that soft, or gentle in the joint so it's soft. Strong legs though. Engaged abdominals. All right, turn the palms down. Bring the hands out in front of you. If you're lacing your fingers, which you should be, you look at them, one set of fingers is stacked up on top of the other. So you have to change the lacing of the finger, left to right or right to left. Turn the palms back out, take both arms up to start. Don't go back, don't worry about back. Start to take them up, and then when you feel resistance in your shoulders, stop, re-engage your legs, re-engage the core. Don't tuck the buttock has to lift from the hamstring. And then the abdominals lift. So now your legs and your core are stabilizing your body. Then lift the palm up against gravity. Back is an action that comes when there's range of motion in the shoulder joint, not necessarily a hypermobility. And that range of motion will come in a healthy way when there is a stableness of the pelvis, the mid and upper back. That's when the shoulders will move better. Because you can push them too hard one way and they're just going to cramp or tear something. Lift, always up against gravity in this case. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. Don't come out. I didn't say come out, I just said exhale. Yeah, I see you, Pratima. Yeah. Take a breath in your pose. Do you think just because we're doing it at home, I don't know your all's tricks? Trust me, I did all those tricks. All right, bring your arms down now. So that's still in Tadasana. Stretch both arms out wide. You're extending both arms out wide. Stretching the shoulder away from the neck, elbow away from the shoulder, wrist away from the elbow. So try to engage those 3 sections of the arm, not to flex hard. I said stretch them away from the center point. That doesn't mean the elbow locks and the wrist becomes twisted or what I call a broken wrist, right? It's hard angled. Or even the shoulder is pushing up or down. Up or down is not away from your neck. So try to widen from the armpit out to the elbow, right? Shoulder to elbow. Elbow soft, but the tricep bicep is stretching. Now the forearm flexes and stretches the elbow from the shoulder. Flex the palm by curling the thumb into the palm. So we will remember that if you curl the thumb into the palm, you'll engage the forearm muscle deeper. And stretch the forearm away from the elbow and then the fingers away to help stretch the wrist. So engage there for a moment. Keep your left arm as is for right now. Turn your right palm to the world behind you. And then stretch that palm back like there's an invisible wall for you to press into. Try not to twist your rib cage. Keep your ribs stable. Notice how your legs want to start to change too when this happens. One glute will unengage, the thighs will come forward. Keep your thighs back. Push through the center of the palm. Even notice how the fingers might start to spread apart. Push the thumb into the palm, keep the fingers tight. And as you press the center of the palm, not the tips of your fingers, the palm back to the world behind you. When you've gone your max, bend the elbow, stretch that arm across like you're trying to take your right hand towards your left armpit. Don't try to take it up your back. This isn't a Gomu or reverse namaskar. This is very different. So now you're going to bring your left arm down, still stretching shoulder from neck, elbow from shoulder, wrist from elbow. And now that your right hand is somewhere stretching for that shoulder blade, if it can't reach it, fine. Take your right hand down and grab any part of your left arm you can. The higher up, the better. We started fairly high, but if you have to bring it down a little bit to grab the arm, that's fine. So Tristan's grabbed the arm near the bicep because that was near the armpit. She has that mobility. So grab whatever you can. The left arm is still very active at this point. The shoulder is still stretched. The shoulder is still stretching away from the elbow, elbow away from the shoulder, so forth, so forth, so forth. Everything's stretching. Turn your left palm out, away from your body. Not that way, the other way, Tristan. So the bicep rotates out away from your chest. Now, hold on firm with your right hand, and then try to pick your left arm back up a little bit to where it was. So that left arm drags the right arm across, but try not to lose your chest. Try to keep the legs active, the glutes active, the chest facing your forward direction, and use that left arm to stretch the right arm a little more. How's that feel, Tris? Feels good, she says. On your left neck. Yeah. This is very nice for releasing the neck muscles under the shoulder blades. It will help the right shoulder, the pec muscles, and down into the bicep. Stretch both arms out again. Curl the thumb into the palm. Stretch the shoulder away from neck, elbow from shoulder, wrist from elbow. Turn your left palm to the world behind you. Keep the right arm stretched out to the side. Stretch your left hand back, pushing the center of your palm back to like the invisible wall as hard as you possibly can. Keep your legs active, your thighs, your quads, all that stuff. And as you push the left hand back, when you've gone as far as you possibly can, swing the left arm, bend the left elbow, swinging the left hand for the right armpit. Don't lose your legs when you do this. Bend the elbow, go, Tristan. And however much that left hand can reach for that armpit, that's fine. That's just your guide about what range of motion your shoulder has. Take the right arm down, still stretching, shoulder from neck, elbow from shoulder, wrist from elbow. And then take your left hand and try to grab anywhere you can on that arm. The higher, the more work you're going to get into that shoulder, that right shoulder. But even if it's below the elbow, even if you're only grabbing the wrist, it's still going to give you some level of work. Turn the right palm out away from the body, and then use the strength of the arm, not just to lift, but to extend. Don't lean your body. It's very easy to tilt and lean the spine in this as we get tired or fatigued, and the body starts to, jink. That right arm lifts out and still stretches the shoulder away from the neck, elbow from shoulder, wrist from elbow. Make space in each part that you're working, right? Just as when we sat down at the start of class, you checked in with each part of yourself. What's going on? Here, it's the physical action, because the physical stuff might reveal something about the inner stuff, right? That's what we're here for, something different. So it's not pulling your right arm forward. Be very careful with that, that your right hand's not trying to go in front of your body. The right arm is back and it's just lifting out to the side. And hold, breathe. Feel good on that side? Good. All right, exhale, bring the arms down. Very nice. Grab your yoga strap, blanket, towel, whatever you're using. For simplicity of time, and I don't have to keep saying everything that could be a piece of fabric, it's always going to be a strap, whatever you're using. Hold your strap in your right hand, stretch both arms straight out to the side of the body. Create a lot of extension each time you bring the arms out. So you're standing in Tadasana, thighs back, glute lifted, core having to flex to lift your chest up. Shoulder away from neck, elbow from shoulder, wrist from elbow. Holding the strap in the right hand, turn your right palm up, take the right arm straight up into the sky, bringing the bicep near the ear, and then stretch the arm up higher, go against gravity. Every time you take the arm up, it's a chance of extension. Take that opportunity, open the rib cage, open the lungs up. And then when you've stretched up that right rib cage, you feel the lift of the right side of the body and both legs are active. Bend the right elbow, letting the right arm hang down in between the shoulder blades. So your strap is also down between the shoulder blades. Turn your left palm to face the room behind you. Press your left hand back to the world behind you. Thumb should be in your palm. Take every opportunity to work something, right? You've made time to be here, all 20-something of you, right? So take every chance to get as much as you can out of this. Push the palm back, and then when your left hand has gone back behind you as far as you can, opening the chest, bend the elbow, let the arm swing, and then don't twist your ribs, but bend the elbow and bring the arm back and grab the strap. If your fingers can touch, fine. I'm not really here. This is not what we're going for. So I'd rather you grab the strap just below the other hand. Yes. And now I want you to try and pull the strap apart. When we are taught to do this, it creates a contraction that can open up the upper back, but it will also create a lot of work from the neck into the chest. So as you pull that strap, what I want you to do is stretch your right rib to right armpit to right elbow higher. And think about opening the front chest. So your right chest bone has to stretch away from the center. So your right arm rolls to your right more to open up off your neck. Feel the difference, Tristan? Great. Now you have to do the same on your left. When you took the arms into the pose, your chest was very open. When you flexed, you crunched to make it happen. So here, Tristan rolled her right shoulder back. Do the same on your left. Stretch from your left collarbone to the left shoulder. Open both up on the front. So now it's not about how much the front and the neck are flexing to pull, but how much both arms are engaged, maybe not as strong, because now you're not just overworking your traps, your neck, but now you're broadening, engaging the chest and front muscles to lift to create some good range of motion in the back and neck. And breathe. Exhale, let the arms out. Stretch both arms wide, holding the strap in your left hand. So when you lift the arms, soften the elbow joints. Don't lock the joint, but try and get the muscle between the joints to flex. Even just if you got to flex that bicep a little bit and stretch that bicep away from your neck. Then do the same in your forearm. Press the thumb into the palm, stretch the forearm away from the elbow. Take your left arm straight up, palms turned up to the ceiling to start. Lift from the rib cage, extend up against gravity. Then when your left side of your body is any degree of engaged, exhale, bend the left elbow, let the hand come down between the shoulder blades. Right hand, turn the palm back to the world behind you, press the hand back so the chest opens. Good, Shuba, keep going. Try to keep your chin up, everybody. All right, when your arm's gone back as far as, again, keep the arm active, but bend the elbow and let the elbow create the swing. So it's not on the poor connective tissue of the shoulder joint. Let the elbow do its range of motion work. So once you've taken the arm back, grab the strap just below the other hand or as high as you can, close to the other hand. It doesn't have to be there to be perfect. I would just prefer you not grab your own hand right now. That creates joint manipulation and things like that, that right now, as you're learning to keep the chest open and protect the joints, it's easier just not to. Pull, and then it's not moving your left elbow to the left. As you see Tristan doing, her left elbow is trying to run off towards the enchiladas we have waiting for us for dinner. But lift from your rib to your armpit to your elbow up. Go up against gravity. Gravity's not to your left, it's up. Nice. And then roll your left shoulder back. Your left chest bone opens up, moving your left arm back. Still up though. If one arm kinds to tend to lay down, that's a side, you know, probably got to collapse on that lower chest muscle or back muscle. It's not quite lifting. And then the same on the right. The right chest, or the back arm, the right arm, chest opens. Legs are active. Keep going. All right. Take a couple more deep breaths in. Try to engage your legs better, not by locking the knee, but by flexing your quads, lifting the buttocks so your core lifts. When your core lifts, your back will open. Good job. Bring the arms down. Take a second, set your strap to the side. Grab a chair. Any kind of chair you have in your home will work. And if you have a yoga block or some box type block shape thing, we're getting everything from Amazon, so you probably got something shaped like this. So those of you that were here Tuesday, right, at least demoed a pose for Caitlin answering your question. Everybody wanted a screenshot. So guess what? You're getting it. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with your block on your chair. Watch Tristan for a moment before doing, just so we're all clear about what's going on. I'll turn the camera down a little bit so you can see. Tristan's going to walk her knees back about 2 foot from the chair, 3 foot from the chair, and then the block will sit on the chair itself. She's going to take her elbows onto the seat of the chair. So with her elbows on the chair, I want you to slide the elbows forward on the chair so the tricep, the very base of the tricep closest to the elbow. You do not just want the paired joint when we do the pose. As you can see, Tristan's already taken her body forward into a more level station. Her forehead lays on the chair. And you want to make sure when you go down that your knees are underneath your hips. So Tristan's going to walk her knees back just an inch or two and use your best judgment, right? Keep your eyes open, pay attention to what you're doing with your body. And then you squeeze that block as hard as possible. And then you bend the elbow so the wrist is directly above the elbow joint. Great. So finish watching for a moment. I know you're all eager. Please be patient. So as she squeezes, you might begin to notice one shoulder, her left one, goes up higher than the other, right? Right. So the action is while you can feel both palms equally into the block, are both elbow tricep connections pressing down equally into the chair? And then when both elbows are pressing equally into the chair, are you creating the equal amount of space between shoulder and neck? Can you widen there and press down and squeeze at the same time? So you're opening up the shoulder neck, lengthening the back, and then I'll add to it. Don't worry, there'll be another step. I'll just leave that to be a surprise. So you have seen, go do. All right, elbows on chairs, knees under hips, body more or less level to whatever you're capable of doing. And no, if you don't have a chair, use the arm of your couch. Use whatever you've got to create some of this extension action. All right, squeeze the block. When you're ready, keep the elbows in line with the shoulders, wrist in line with the elbows, bend the elbows, bringing the wrist above the elbow joint itself. Make sure you have walked your knees back so your knees are under your hips. Caitlin, walk your knees forward just a hair. Thank you. Stretch your chest down a little bit, not by bowing your low back, but moving the upper back right between the shoulder blades down. Push the elbows into the chair, squeeze the block, and then try and stretch your shoulder away from your neck, just like when you had the arm stretched out to your side. So you're making some space by using your upper back muscle, latissimus dorsi, scapularis, subscapularis, widening those shoulder blades and opening it up. It's a very active pose, and it really is kind of a proto headstand or forearm balance. And for those of us that want to get a lot of the health benefits but can't do inversions for whatever reason, health related, fear, whatnot, this is a really good way to start teaching you the good alignment. Because here you're going to be able to even look at your elbows. Everyone look at your elbows. Is one elbow wider than the other, as in its relationship to your shoulder joint? So is one elbow in and the other out? Can you bring them both in to be in line with your shoulder? And then once that's true, can you press them both down equally and squeeze the block equally? Stretch your hips back as you press your elbows down. So now you're challenging the lateral body to stay stable and stretch as you push your hips back by, you may have to walk your knees forward just a hair to help this happen. Block is strong. And now keep it all and let's add some range of motion. Bend your elbows deeper like you're going to touch the block to your shoulder blades. The block should be very wide in your hands. It should not be the narrow side of the block, Pratima. Yeah, there you go. You're rocking now. Use that block, everybody. Caitlin, walk your knees back a hair and let your chest drop down. So it's not about rounding, but it's about leveling and extending. Push your hips back, everybody. Nice. Let your necks relax. It's very easy. Don't press your forehead into the chair. That would be silly. Even though I might come up with some version of a yoga pose to do that later. Who knows? All right. Can you come out of this pose? Wait, listen. Not by taking your arms out. Keep your arms exactly as they are. Strong legs. Pick your chest straight up without falling over. It is very challenging to do. Keep the pose. Don't lose it. Squeeze the palms into the block. Don't let the elbows go wide. Bring them in. You want it to learn. If you want to have freedom, you got to do it in more than just one position. So pin the elbows into your head. Everyone should be upright off the chair. If you look at the screen, Tristan's upright. She's suffering for your learning. So she's got her elbows stacked above her shoulders, shoulders above hips. Block is still touching the shoulder blades. And now, fold forward, strong legs. Keep your elbows in, keep your core down, take your elbows back to the chair. So it's a lifting and lowering action. Yeah, just like that, Caitlin. Now come back down. So everyone should have your elbows on the chair. You've learned. Now we're going to build on it. Keep squeezing the block. Move the block away from the shoulder blade so the wrist is just above the elbow in 90-degree bend. I won't abbreviate, it will get confusing. Push your elbows into the chair, pin the elbows in, stretch the hips back, the elbows away from the shoulder, squeeze the block. On your next, take a deep breath, and on the exhale, pick your chest up without losing the alignment of the arms. Ooh, off the chair, elbows off the chair, bring your body straight up. Very challenging. All right, back down to the chair. Don't lose the elbows as you go down. Oh, we're going to do this for a while. This is the new next hip core workout that'll be on Instagram. All right, wrist above elbows. Push the elbows down, reset your body. So what this is offering you is a little bit of insight to how you pick your body up. What is standing upright posturally for you? For some of us, including myself sometimes, the tendency is to over push the low back forward. We don't actually use the core muscles to pick our body up. And so when that happens, we create a lot of imbalance in the shoulder, neck, and spine. This really begins to change that. So from wrist to elbow, elbow to shoulder, you've got the alignment. Don't round your back. Don't start cheating it. Take your deep breath with your core muscles. Pull yourself upright. Hard, huh? Yep. All right, elbows back down. Reset your arms. So the wrist is above the elbow. Elbow in line with shoulder. All right, take a breath. Stand your body upright. Keep the arms exactly as they are. Oh, now you're starting to get it, huh? You're coming up without falling. Elbows on the chair. Couple more. Learn how to use your core to lift your body. This is your legs lifting your torso up. If you did this all the time, like, your posture would be fantastic. Shoulder to elbow, elbow to shoulder, hands on the blocks. Exhale, body up. Try not to throw your hips back as hard. Exhale, down on the chair. Try not to drop your hips to your heels this next time. Try to keep your hips above your knee. Really hard. Exhale, up. Use those cores. Yeah, there we go. All right, exhale, bring your block down. Well done. Oh, so you lived. All right, good job. So now, stand up. Turn this up. You're going to stand wide on your yoga mat. Use your chair for this. You're going to stand wide with your right side towards your chair. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, watch the screen. Tristan's doing well. She's standing with her right side to the chair. Her right foot is slightly under the chair. She's going to turn her right toes out. Stretch her arms out wide. Right. So everyone, we're going to do is stretch out right hand down to the chair, triangle pose. So just get your right hand on the seat of the chair, your left arm straight up, triangle pose. I'm going to teach it from here. So everyone get to the pose. If you don't want to do triangle pose, do Utthita Trikonasana, which is triangle pose, just in a fancier name. So do the pose. All right. I don't want to make this about the legs too much, but please, as always, just from our standing poses, don't work your knee locked. Keep it softly bent. I don't care how long that takes to learn how to flex the thigh muscle instead. Push your big toe, pinky toe joint, center of the heel, hard into the floor. This isn't about how low you can go. I know some of you are so capable and mobile that you could take your hand to the floor, but the lesson I'm trying to teach is not in that. I want us to use lateral movement like this to get up into the shoulders and back better. So first off, roll your left hip back, left ribs back. Turn your left palm to the world behind you. Nice. Push your left hand back like there's an invisible wall. Start to move that shoulder back, and when you've again reached the max point, bend the elbow, bringing that hand towards your right armpit. And then push your back of your left hand, thumb into the palm, into that shoulder blade or your back muscle, wherever it is, as hard as you can. Push the back of that hand into it. And then you might feel your hip open a little bit. If you're kind of being aware, it might feel like you want to bend lower into this. That's because your upper back and your mid back and your low back are starting to work together now. And one part's not holding the heavier upper parts, as in the pelvis and low back muscles aren't stabilizing the upper now. The upper and mid are working on their own. All three are in one piece. Don't go down yet though. Enjoy getting the shoulders and back open. Instead, flex your thighs. Roll your left hip back. Pull your left ribs, bottom floating ribs back. Nice. And then move your head back. So don't shorten the neck, but just lean your head back into space, the base of the skull, and then turn your head to look up. Start to play with it. Take your left arm out, bring your body up, switch to the other side. Switch side, other side. You don't have to move that much. Just turn and face the camera. Move it back, move it. Step wide, turn your left foot out. Arms out wide. With your left toes turned out, shift, stretch over the chair a little bit. Take your left hand down to the seat of the chair. Right arm up. Open the shoulder blades. Already start to break the habit of locking the knee, the thigh, or bending the elbow to make yourself feel like you're getting something out of this pose. Stretch against gravity, right? Right. Fingertip, thumb into the palm, turn the right hand back behind you. Stretch the right hand back as far as you can. Don't twist your chest as much. Once your chest is neutral, keep it. And once you've stretched it back, you've lengthened the shoulder from the neck, elbow from the shoulder. Bend that elbow and let it swing so the fingers go towards the armpit. They may not touch it, they go towards it though. Right. So once you're there, push the back of your hand firm into your own back. So you have to open across the chest to do so. The neck gets to lengthen. And then lean your body back. Lean your head back. And then turn your head to look up. Better. Feel the difference. You shorten the other side. But now you know you do. Now you can start figuring out how you do it, how to change it. And just hold the pose. So this is just a chance to start experimenting with your standing lateral body poses. Warrior 1, warrior 2, half moon, triangle, side angle, all that stuff. How you can work your upper body to help your lower body be more stable. So the more you push your hand into your back, your hips may shift easier. You may feel like you want to bend your elbow and go lower to the chair. We will on the other in a moment. We'll switch it up and give you a chance. Exhale, bring your body up. Switch sides. So your right foot's towards the chair. Right toes turned out. Arms wide. Shoulder away from neck. Elbow away from shoulder. Wrist away from elbow. Take your right hand onto the seat of the chair, or whatever part of the chair you're capable of working with right now. Stretch that left arm up against gravity. Turn the left palm back to the world behind you, pressing the thumb into the center of the palm. Stretch the arm back, same thing we just did on the other side, but go through it methodically. And once you've stretched the arm back enough, Bend the elbow and let the elbow be the swinging hinge to bring the fingers towards the armpit. Great. Now, bend your right knee. Push your back into your hand into your back as hard as you can. And move your left hip back, your left ribs back. Even though your left hand may be on your right rib cage, don't just move that side of your ribs, pull your left ribs back so it can touch your forearm. Use your arm as a guide bar for how much of your rib cage is actually working into the pose and try to do more. Good. For those of you that would like more, take your right elbow down to the seat of the chair. Don't lose any of the other parts. If you lose any of the other parts, it's not your time yet. Be patient with yourself. We got a long shelter in place. We got a long time to work on ourselves. Push the hand into the back, back into the hand. Left and right ribs. Can you keep the upper body? Move the head back and then rotate the head to begin to look up, even if it's just a little bit. It doesn't have to be the full face up jam. And then finally, straighten your right leg, but don't lose the upper body at all. So you get this deep elongation of the ribs, shoulder back. How's that feel? Good. Great. Elongate from the left side. All right, bring the body up. Switch sides. Feet wide. Turn your left toes out. Arms out. Shoulder away from neck, elbow away from shoulder, wrist away from elbow. Take your left hand to the chair, stretch out over the chair a little, take your hand down. Right arm up, stretch against gravity. Turn your palm back to the world behind you. Stretch the arm back, pressing through the center of the palm. And I ask for that instead of your fingers. It's easy to kind of bend or overflex or curl the fingers. When you press through the center of your palm, where the thumb is pressing, it engages the forearm and the rest of the arm better. When you've gone back as far as you can, bend the elbow, swing it into the pose. Push the hand into the back, back into the hand. And even though you might be only touching your left rib cage, still work your right rib cage back to the arm. Bend the left knee. Push your right hip back, Tristan. There you go. More. So with the knee bent, lean the upper body back. And when you want, if you want more, you could stay in this position, or if you want to stretch a little deeper, take your elbow down to the seat of the chair. But again, don't lose any of the other parts you've built. Practice doing something wrong, you're only going to get good at doing it wrong. And even if when you're practicing, you make a mistake, that's fine. If your intent is clear to listen to your body, to pay attention to what you're doing with yourself, that is the greater practice. All the physical stuff is going to come and go. One day you'll be really great at the poses. The next day you have a back injury. That's how it is. Once your elbow is down or your hand is on the chair still, your arm straight, both fine, straighten your left leg. Look up. Take a few deep breaths, lean the upper body back. Lean your chest back, Katie, not your head as much. There you go. Take a couple breaths, exhale, up you come. Arms down, legs down. If you have a yoga block, grab one now. If you have two yoga blocks, you can use two. Put your chairs up for a moment. Take that extra second to put the chair off to the side. You're going to take one yoga block If you don't have a yoga block, use very big books. If you do not have a second yoga block, you may use a pillow, cushion, whatever. You're going to lay a block flat on your yoga mat. And the second block about 6 to 8 inches away from it, like so. So if you watch Tristan for just a moment, she's going to sit on the floor facing away from the yoga blocks. Your hips are not up against the blocks. You want the blocks to be far enough away when you lay on them. One block hits your shoulder blades, the other block's at the back of your head. Both are flat at this time. Now watch for a second. I'm going to have her show you the proper way to lay down into this, because you don't lay down slouched. That would just be awful. Legs are straight. Put your fingertips onto the floor next to your hips, so your elbows are bent. This is important. If your arms are straight, you're going to lock your shoulder. Push down through the fingertips. Lift the chest up as high as you can. Puff the chest. Don't just throw your head back to full. You actually work up against gravity. And then bend your elbows, keeping the lifted spine against gravity, to begin to lay down. Great. So the shoulder blades hit the block 1, back of the head hits block 2, cushion, whatever you got. Pet. Stretch your arms out to the side. If you get a little bit of a back twinge, you probably saw Tristan for a second scoot her hips by lifting her hips up and smoothing out the flush of her buttock. That's perfectly appropriate. And just lay here for a moment. So get to the pose, and then I'll teach you from here. All right, so you're laying down, legs are straight, back is on the block, on the shoulder blades, not below your shoulder blades, on the flat shoulder blade. If you're not familiar with the shoulder blade is, it's below your shoulder joint, above the ribs of the middle back, that flat plate that we often slouch with. So just even here, stretch both arms wide, back of the hand on the floor. You need to play a little bit of a game with the range of motion of your shoulders here. As your arm is out to the side, you start to slowly slide it up higher. And as it goes, you might start to feel the arms start to float up, like the wrist will bend and the back of the wrist will come off the floor. You can take the arm as high as you want overhead, but the wrist must stay on the floor, the elbow must stay straight, and the back of the hand must be able to press into the floor with some action. So you have to really test the openness of your chest muscle and the mobility of your upper back. So straight elbows. Okay. Press the back of the hand into the floor. Even try to press the 5 nails into the floor, the thumb and the 4 fingers. And it's not too bad. This opens up the chest and everything. Then after we've done this for the next few seconds, we'll add to it by taking out the block under your head or reducing the height of it. So we start to get out of the slouch forward posture. We start to create a lot of better range of motion health in the neck. All right, so you've been here for a moment, bring the arms down just a little bit. If this is already a lot of stretch for your back, shoulder, and neck, you don't have to remove the head support. But if you want to give it a try, give it a try. You never know. And you can put something smaller there. If you have a thick block, you can put a thin block or a book or whatever you need to. But then stretch your head down, stretch your arms out, activate the arm, shoulder away from neck, elbow away from shoulder, wrist away from elbow, press the hands down. Even press the head into the floor a little bit, not the back of your head. You're not trying to press the back of your head so you flatten your chin. The chin tilts up so you roll towards the crown of the head so it lengthens the front neck muscle. So you start working into a small variation of Matsyendrasana or fish pose. A couple minutes here. Probably not a couple minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Take a few deep breaths. Almost done. All right. Take a nice deep breath in, bring the arms out of the pose. Roll your body to the side, sit on it. All right. If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. I'm not going to unmute everybody or we get a lot of distracting noise. Especially Ein. Ein is very barky right now. Very loud boy. All right, so if you have a question, go ahead. Feel free to unmute and ask.
So yeah, so when I'm standing Trikonasana, I think I have a tendency to lock my knee. So you would stand a little bit and then bottom of the, I think that's what I'm doing.
The thing about it is if you lock your knee, you're not going to engage your thigh, and all the pressure is going to collapse into your ankle and the back of your knee joint, and your hip is never going to activate that creates the lift of the spine. I don't care. I'm not going to get into the old Iyengar school of every joint has to be perfectly straight, because as you may have heard me say before in classes, there's no such thing as a straight muscle, bone, joint, or line in the human body. We're all spherical, round, and curves. So I don't even like the language of straighten the knee. So if you practice the pose with your knee bent, but flex the thigh and try to elongate it, right, that's going to be healthier and produce a better posture and more support for the rest of your body than just some idea of straight. We're round beings, but yet our entire world is square, right angles and straight lines. So we have to, in my opinion, break that habit. Because it will damage your leg over time. I mean, I've hurt myself plenty in triangle pose with my knee overly locked. Good question. Anyone else?
Speaking of triangle pose, when your hand is on the chair, what direction are your fingers pointing? And maybe more importantly, what direction is your elbow pointing? Because I was getting pain. Yeah.
Right. Go ahead, I'm listening.
No, I mean, I think you're going to answer my question, so that's fine.
All right. So, my brat. When your arm is straight out in front of you on the chair, I like to have my fingers pointed the same direction as my toes. So if your right toes are turned out under the chair, your right fingers are pointing the same direction as the toes. And then the elbow, the tendency can be for the arm to roll in, roll the bend of your elbow the same direction as your fingers. So it opens up that shoulder and that bicep, and it lets you lift the chest up off of the arm easier. Does that make sense?
Okay. It does. I was having a lot of pain in my elbow, but when I engaged my legs, it felt better. So I think I was just dumping too much weight into my, but I still wanted to know where it pointed. And I had another question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. But you know, the more you engage the legs, the more you're going to take pressure off your upper body. It's just always true.
Right. The second question was on the last one we did where we were on the blocks and we were moving our hands upward. I could probably get only about here before I had a sharp pain in the middle of my back. So my question is, as I practice that, do I just go to before there's pain and try to improve that, or okay?
You don't want to push past it because there's no just breaking it for it to be better.
Right.
Right. It's not like a stuck medicine bottle, you know. You just
but it's okay to like go up to that point and yeah, okay.
It'd be irresponsible to push past it.
Yeah.
Good. Anyone else? All right. I guess not. What?
I just want to say thank you so much. I've been experiencing so much neck pain today, and that was exactly what I needed sitting behind the desk. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Caitlin. Thank you all for being here. It's so nice to see everybody. I like Caitlin's got like the Brave Club colored ground going on there. It's very fun. All right.
Then one more question. One more question on when we had the block and our elbows on the chair and we were trying to pick up without moving that, right?
Yeah.
All right. The first cheat I found myself doing was move my knees forward. I felt like it wasn't so difficult to keep the connection of the arms and the upper body,
Yeah.
but trying to pick up from the connection of my legs and hips was difficult.
Yes. What's your question?
Where are you taking your strength?
From your core muscles, actually. So maybe I can do it. Let's see. We'll see how my back is. Get ready for the great comedy.
Okay.
It's all from your core body picking up, because if you sway in your low back like this and try to stand up, it's your hips. If you pull your core back and widen your back.
So it's more mid-abdominals than lower abdominals.
Exactly. It's all the mid-abdominals, lateral muscles that stabilize your upper body. And so if you learn how to engage these correctly, one, you'll have more toned, stable body, but you'll also give a lot of freedom to your shoulder neck.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Too little. All right. Clean your stuff up. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Namaste.
See you all next Tuesday.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah.